She was not okay with me being a nurse, like a wet nurse. I'm like, people have done this for thousands of years.
Oh, yeah,
like,
people probably did it all the time.
This is totally normal. Like, this is like what royalty gets. They get somebody else to nurse their kids. I was like, I was just trying to help you out.
Hey there. Welcome to Parties to Playdates. I'm Kendall.
And I'm Jess. We're here to fill your day with warmth and laughter.
Join us as we navigate the chaos and joy of everyday life.
We're all about sharing real-life moments with a dash of humor and practical tips.
So grab your coffee and settle in for a cozy chat.
Because here, every moment is a story worth sharing.
No topic is off limit.
And every listener is a friend.
Let's get this party started. Well, welcome, ladies. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Jess?
Fabulous, fabulous.
Yay.
We'll have drinks today. Cheers, ladies.
Look at us go. Cheers.
So fancy.
Ew.
It's much needed.
Oh, yes, it is. So, ladies, what did they say or do this week? Who wants to go first?
This past weekend, we celebrated Valentine's Day, which I clearly had zero plans. And so I woke up, Andrew was sleeping in, and I was like, I am going to do what I want on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So I went and I got myself a blowout because I was like, if I get a blowout, then I'm way more likely to be like, take me to dinner with my fabulous hair. And then I bought myself a book and a ring. And then I got Andrew a little gift while I was out and a card. And then when I got home, I had my little gifts for him. And he was like, hey, he's like, we don't do this because we really not our big gift givers on Valentine's Day. And I was like, oh, don't worry. You got me a blowout on a book. And he was like, oh.
That's so true.
Perfect.
Awesome.
So it was a fabulous Valentine's Day. And then we went to dinner, but we made zero dinner plans. And so we went to like early dinner. We
like old people?
Like 70-year-olds. We went to a 4:45 dinner reservation it was the last one that we snuck in.
Where?
At Down Island.
Oh, awesome.
Which they had a yummy Valentine's menu, and then because they didn't actually start serving dinner till 5.
You had to have the lunch menu?
We had they were still on happy hour, so we had some fancy happy hour drinks, and we had some happy hour appetizers, but we were there for like 3 hours.
Holy shit. Just you two?
Yeah, we had
fun.
3 different appetizers, and we each got an entree, and then we had a dessert. So there was lots of delicious food and fabulous hair for Valentine's. It was fabulous. So.
Oh my God. What ring did you get? Let me see. Do you have it on?
I don't. I was going to wear it today, but I didn't. It's this cute like gold one, which kind of mimics the shape of my wedding ring, like that kind of angled.
Love it.
Yeah. And it was from the blowout place. So
really?
Yeah, so random, but it was so cute, and it was gold, and I don't have a lot of gold rings.
Yeah. And
so I was like, I'm going to get this. It's fun. So
I'm a silver girl. What are you guys?
Oh, I'm silver.
Yeah, I'm silver all
I
the
love
way.
the way gold looks.
Me too.
Everything I have is silver. So
Same.
It's like I've committed to it.
I have too, and I never really take any of my jewelry off like ever. And I just can't even imagine spending all that money on all the new jewelry that I'd want to wear and then having to do that all again, like take it off if I wanted to switch. So silver, I don't know. It looks better on me, I think. What about you?
I like silver a lot, but in the last couple of years, I've definitely experimented with more gold pieces. And there's some outfits that I put on that have gold zippers or gold accents. And I'm like, oh gosh, I feel like I should have gold on with this.
Well, do you want to go? Or do you want me to?
Well, for Valentine's Day?
Anything.
We didn't really do anything because we were traveling the next day.
Yeah.
My husband is a very good cook. Thank God. Because I do not cook at all. I clean, which is like my love language. So I've been cleaning everything in Kendall's house.
She won't stop.
And she gets mad at me.
Stop cleaning the dishes. We have a dishwasher.
Girl, you can come to my house any day.
Well, she'll do them by hand. I'm like, don't work so hard. There's a dishwasher.
I'm just crazy.
It's okay. It's fine.
Fine. He made shrimp scampi.
Ooh, nice.
It was delicious. We usually do like a bacon wrapped shrimp and with this like barbecue like maple syrup stuff on it, and it's so good. And we usually do like a ribeye, but we were like, oh my God, like my stomach will be so messed up the next
day.
Trying
to travel?
Yes. And I was like, we're not
doing that.
He also made cookies, like brown butter cookies from scratch.
Oh my god,
gosh.
yum.
Yes, they were so good. I bought 2 things of ice cream.
For the cookies.
For the cookies. Well, I was like, I was going to do like a sundae bar. So I got
Cute.
like whipped cream and like sprinkles and stuff like
Oh my
that.
god, so cute.
Yeah. So that was my plan. I felt like I did not contribute equally.
It's okay.
You don't have to. You gave him 2 children.
I did. I did
At
that.
once. Let's remind everybody. At once.
I always tell Andrew, I said, if I ever get remarried, I'm going to marry somebody who has cooking skills.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can cook just fine.
You cook great.
But it would be nice to have somebody else do it.
Mhm.
That would
For
be
once.
fabulous. I would probably be a much bigger woman.
So Ryan and I actually are celebrating Valentine's Day on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, which is so random, and it was so funny because I don't care. Like, Valentine's Day was Friday, and I was like, on Thursday night, I was like, oh, what time are you going to work tomorrow so I can get everything ready? I was going to do a big pedicure when he got up in the morning or when he got home from work, either one, probably in the morning because I work at night. And then I was going to go to Jimmy John's and get him a sandwich and some, like, beef jerky and, like, little bitty candy and, like, balloons. And I had a poster already all hidden in the house for Maverick to draw on and, like, will you be my Valentine? And he was like, I don't work tomorrow. And I was like, what?
Fuck.
And I was like, oh, shit. I was like,
I mean, yay.
I was like, Maverick hasn't even, like, done his poster board yet. And he was like, why are you asking me? I was like, oh, damn. And he's like, what? I was like, I really had this whole thing planned for you. Like, I was going to surprise you at work. He goes, do not do that, ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
I can't see Ryan being into
I
that.
know. He goes, first off, I never eat during my work day. I need my hands. I do things. Like, it's not like I'm sitting at a desk or something. And I was like, well, shit. It was just a sandwich.
Yeah.
Like,
So judgy, Ryan.
and then I was like, and then I was going to do this and this. He goes, I thought we weren't celebrating Valentine's Day. We were doing it on Sunday. And I was like, well, I still had things planned. It still was going to be fun, whatever. I had nothing to do, literally. I had a morning workout class, and then I had my entire day off until 5, until I had to go to work. And I was like, it was just going to be fun. He was like, no, do not do that. And then, of course, he went out and came home and surprised me because I left to go do something. And when I came home, he was out at the same time getting me the most big, beautiful orchids I've ever seen.
Oh.
Did you see them? They're huge. Like, literally.
It's gorgeous.
The flower is like this big. It was like a softball size. They're stunning. I was like, so you're going to tell me not to do stuff, and then you turn right around and go out and get me big, beautiful orchids.
Like, you've met Ryan, right?
Oh, yeah, just once. Maybe twice. It was really sweet of him. And then we've been trying for our second baby, and, like, we're trying really, really, really hard, and it's taking a minute, and I've been really upset about it and everything because I want it, like, yesterday. And I was crying one day and, like, really hard, and he was like, he knew I was very upset, and he's like, what can I do to help you? I'm like, literally, there's nothing you can do to help me, honestly. Like, there's nothing. Nobody can do anything to help me at this point. It's, like, all in my brain. He goes to work for the day. He comes home, and he hands me a bag, and he goes, here's your little mommy feel better bag. He's like, I don't know how to help you, in your mental state or anything like this, but I do know I can help get you pregnant. And it was a bottle of wine. It was Sour Patch Kids because I love Sour Patch Kids. And they're vegan. An ovulation strip test, and we've said we weren't going to do it, but now here we are, and it's actually really fun. And pregnancy test. He's like, we got this. Let's do it. And it was really sweet. I know. I was like, oh, I love you. Yeah, it got me very excited because we told each other we weren't going to do the ovulation stuff again because it really took a turn where I became, like, obsessed with Maverick. But it actually got me really excited.
Aww.
So we're doing it.
Good job, Ryan, with your fancy bag of tricks.
All in a CVS bag.
I love it. Unwrapped, of course, because we don't wrap shit.
No.
No, it's a waste.
Why? Such a waste of time.
So let's go over how you and I met really quick.
Oh, Lord.
I know. And it's fun. It's a really great story. So Nicole's originally from Florida, and you moved to California.
Yes.
Yes. And you started working at the bar that's, like, in the middle of where I grew up and am from. And when I came back to California, literally for, like, it was supposed to be for, like, a few months, I ended up getting a job at the same bar you worked at.
I forgot you were only
I was
there
only going to be there
bit.
just for a little bit. And then
I was like, thank God she stayed.
life happens. And here we are now. We met at Tavern, which is a small little bar. Literally at the time, it's probably the only bar, really, for a long time in El Segundo.
Yeah.
You were bartending and kind of serving. You were like kind of doing both. Literally one of the first times you were training me. First off, I was intimidated because you were doing such a fucking good job behind the bar and you were like such a hard worker. And I'm like, oh God, she's going to think I'm like some piece of shit working behind the bar. But
I did not think that at all.
It changed when you asked me, are you a Hufflepuff? And that's so you. And I died because I was like, what the hell's a Hufflepuff? And I was like, what?
It's a very Hufflepuff question right there.
That's so true. I was going to say, does Kendall know what a Hufflepuff is?
I do now. But it was funny because I was like, I don't know. And you like started dying. You were like, oh my God, you're so Hufflepuff. And I was like, okay. And I literally had to like Google it. And then I was like, oh, Harry Potter. And it was so funny. Loved it. So I was like, oh, I like her. She knows me already because I'm a Hufflepuff.
We clicked really quickly. And I don't know what you're talking about. You did not piss me off at all. You are such a hard worker.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm like, oh my God, somebody that can keep up with me. I love it because I'm crazy. I'm going to check every table and make sure food's ran and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You were so much fun. That's why we've been friends for like 10 years.
I know. And it's so funny because I was like, I always tell Jess, I'm like, oh, if you met me in my 20s, man, holy moly, what a whirlwind. What a whirlwind. And it's funny because I met Ryan because of you. They were sitting at like him and like there was like 10 guys. They came in to have drinks. They're always there drinking. Literally, they were like the late night guys, always there.
By the golden tea machine.
Yes. Only playing golden tea, only drinking Coors Lights or Tito's and soda and whatever.
Double tall.
Yes.
Lemon and lime.
Yes. All the fruit.
Shout out Chris Escalante.
Yes, and that's so funny because that's the only guy I actually knew was Chris Escalante because I've just always known him. And then you were like, you have to come meet these guys. They're great tippers.
Yeah. There you go.
They're great tippers and they're really nice and they're a lot of fun.
They'll buy you shots.
Yeah, literally. And when we went over there, you were like, this is Kendall. And I was like, hi, everybody. And they're all good looking.
Yeah.
And there was like 10 of them. And I was like, oh, oh no, this bad. But it was a lot of fun. And I was like, okay, Nicole knows I'm like, this is going to be cool. It's fun. And I met Ryan and I was like, ooh. I was like, who's that guy? And you're like, yeah, get in line.
Yeah.
Literally.
Because I think when I first met Ryan, I think that was what somebody said to me. Like, I think that's what like Marcy had said to me. She was
and
like,
Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Literally. Everyone's just like, ugh. And of course I was like, ooh, he's hot. And whatever. But that's how I met Ryan. Was literally you introducing me to him that one night.
I just feel like the timing worked out perfectly.
It was impeccable.
Like across the board, everybody was just in the right place.
Speaking of timing, you met your husband at that same bar.
I did, yeah. He was a regular.
Another regular.
Yeah, love him.
And they knew each other.
They did.
Because they were regulars.
Yeah. And I was his bartender for a while. And he never thought twice about him, just like that. I mean, I was with somebody at the time, but he was so friendly, and it's like we would go to the brewery and just like hang out. And then when my ex and I split, it was like a random time. Somebody was like, "Hey, what's Chris doing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'll text him." And he came out, and that's what I stayed. Sorry. I stayed at his house the first night, and I literally never left.
Same with me and Ryan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sluts.
Yeah. 100%.
Just kidding.
Whatever.
Oh, I like this. Like, let me live here.
Oh, it felt good.
And then, 2 kids later in a house in Georgia.
Wild. Crazy. Also, her husband's name is Chris, and you probably know, Ryan's first name is Chris.
I feel like I vaguely remember.
And it's funny because Andrew's real name is not Andrew.
No, it's not.
Everyone goes by their second name. It's the weirdest.
It's so weird.
But in their friend group in El Segundo, there's like 17 Chris's that all hang out together. But there's literally so many, but one goes by a different name. Ryan goes by a different name. One goes by their last name. Actually, multiple go by their last name. But it's like crazy. They're all Christophers.
That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. Wow. And because we used to call Chris Utah. You're Chris.
Ugh. Let it die.
Let it die.
He brought it up when we had moved to Georgia, and I was like, absolutely not.
Is he from Utah?
No.
Oh.
I don't know if you want to bring up why he was called Utah, if you remember. You do.
It's from Point Break. And they
Stop
like,
it.
yeah. I think it's from Point Break. Oh, fuck.
It's okay, girl.
I think it's from Point Break.
Is it because he had multiple girlfriends at the same time?
One may have been in Utah.
Yeah, probably not.
He was like a polygamous dater. And that's why they called him Utah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's the real reason. He just told me Point
The
Break.
truth came out. He said it was
Yes.
Point Break, but really.
That is so freaking funny. Now I need to know the story from him. But
It's stupid. It was nothing significant. I was like, you're not from Utah. You don't know anything about Utah. Let it die. So he told one of our friends, he was like, oh yeah, my friends used to call me Utah. And I was like,
did your neck break and look at him? You're like,
no, they didn't. Let it die. Your name is Chris.
that's so funny because every now and then when I say like Nicole and Chris, I'll say Utah.
That's vomit.
I know, and I'm so sorry I didn't know you hated it.
Hate it.
That's
I
hilarious.
don't know why I hate it that much.
That's funny.
Well, it's just ironic. You and I both met our husbands at that bar. Thank you, Tavern.
Shout out KK.
Yeah, and now you have two beautiful boys,
Yes.
and you're in Georgia. So tell us about twin life, because mind you guys, they're twins.
Yeah.
So bring it on. We neither of us have twins, so she may have 4 kids, but
Which is wild.
I know.
Just no twins over here, guys.
I just can't imagine doing it over and over and over again. Like, we wanted 2 kids, so it worked out. When we found out, Chris was like, do twins run in your family? And I was like, yeah. Like, my grandmother
Oh
is
yeah,
a-
she's identical twin.
she's fraternal.
Oh, I thought they were
They-
a lot alike.
They do.
Okay.
They did, rest in peace. But
Yeah.
they looked exactly alike. They were fraternal. Just learned this on like TikTok not that long ago. Fraternal twins are the only ones that run in the family. Identical twins don't. Like, it's not like a
Oh.
genetic pass down.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We found out we had twins on our first ultrasound appointment. That was a wild
Was that insane?
experience. Yeah, because the doctor didn't tell us.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he didn't say anything. Chris saw it on the screen and freaked out, and I still hadn't seen anything. And I'm like, I hope I have a baby in there.
Yeah, right.
Like,
We're just praying that there's something in
Yeah.
there.
like chilling. And the nurse noticed, and she was like, "Hey, like you gotta tell them." Then she had said to the doctor, "Oh, this is your first ultrasound, right?" And I was like,
And first pregnancy.
Yeah. And
yes.
first pregnancy, I was like, yeah. So he then plays into it, stands over with the nurse, and then the doctor like turns the screen, still hasn't said anything, and is like, all right, this is the first heartbeat.
The first. I'd
The
be
first
like, what?
heartbeat.
Ryan would die.
Oh my
Andrew would
gosh.
probably faint.
Oh, I didn't even get it. I was like, cool. And here's the second one, like mine. Like I just like I
You're
know.
like, I'm alive.
Yeah, I know my heart is beating. And then it said twin A and twin B on it. And Chris, like, we had masks on and everything too. And he was like, yeah, twins.
Was he
like,
pissed?
He wasn't pissed. I think it was pure shock.
Shock.
That's all we said for like 2 hours after. It was just like, twins. Okay. Like, we wanted 2, so it is fine. It was crazy. I think about the pregnancy. So many people told me, because we didn't have kids, they were like, oh, you won't know the difference. Like, you don't know the difference of like having a singleton and having twins. And I was like, you know the fucking difference.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
Yeah. I watched one of the kids and I'm like, this is
A
no
breeze.
offense to singleton moms, but I was like, fucking cakewalk. Like, what the hell?
It is a cakewalk.
We did like planned C-section. Everything went very smooth. It was like a blessing. The doctors were fantastic. The hospital was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any family around, so it was just like all hands on deck all the time.
Mm.
And you just don't get a break. The first 3 months were brutal, and I was still trying to breastfeed. And I would be like texting you in the middle of the night, and I'd be like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to do, because I would try to breastfeed both of them, and then I would, once I finally got them off, change back to sleep, I would have to pump, and then by the time that I was done cleaning the parts, they were already awake again. It was like, yeah,
I know, right? Does it make your skin crawl?
It's just so much work. Like, breastfeeding in general is a lot of work.
It is.
But breastfeeding 2 kids, like you said, by the time you get done, it's just ready to go again, and you're not getting any rest at all. I actually had a friend that had twins, but she would breastfeed him. She would like tandem breastfeed and whatever. I had a baby at the same time. I was also breastfeeding. We were at like a little get together, and I was joking around. I was like, "Hey girl, I got you if you need some help on the breastfeeding side of things." And she left the room, and I was holding her baby, and I just like threw a blanket over, just jokingly. Like I was gonna help out and like nurse her. So she comes back in the room and was like, like, oh my God. And I was like, I like flipped. I was like, it's fine. I'm just messing around. It's okay.
Yeah, she probably gave her a heart attack.
I really did. I really did. She was not okay with me being a nurse, like a wet nurse. I'm like, people have done this for thousands of years.
Oh, yeah,
like,
people probably did it all the time.
This is totally normal. Like, this is like what royalty gets. They get somebody else to nurse their kids. I was like, I was just trying to help you out. I didn't actually do it, but I thought it was funny. She did not think it was funny.
Are you still friends with this person?
Yes, I am. I am.
So Jess of you.
Yeah.
I think I would have accepted and been like,
fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
And it also just did such a number on my mental health because I wasn't producing enough. I wasn't eating.
Yeah.
Like I was in a bad place. I didn't have postpartum depression, but I definitely had the anxiety. And I had high blood pressure. And they wouldn't release me from the hospital. And Chris only got 1 week of paternity leave. Oh. So, I mean, I'm a teacher, so I took off. I had the summer, so it was fine.
And you couldn't take any other time off?
No. I mean, he had only been at the company for
Oh, he just started.
Yeah, either less than a year or right after a year. Mm-hmm. And he did everything that he could have. I just and of course, I've got to let you sleep. You have to work.
Yeah.
It was definitely, once I stopped breastfeeding and I was like, I don't give a fuck how expensive formula is. I don't care that we couldn't find it. And that was a whole ordeal. It was a game changer to get them, for one, on a bottle, because they would sleep longer. And then we started the sleep training at 4 months and got them in their cribs and sleeping through the night by 6 months. There's so much that people don't talk about when you have a child, the after effects on the mom, because you just hear about, the baby and what happened with the delivery. And I'm like, oh my God, but I'm struggling. I would sit there and text you and we were going, I feel like we were going through the same thing.
We were, because Mav was a month after the twins.
I met the head of our math department and we were talking about kids and about the first 3 months and about how hard it was. And I talked to her for 2 minutes and we just got into the conversation. I was like, because these conversations need to be held. To happen. Yeah. Because you're just so miserable and everybody's like, oh my God, you have a beautiful baby, joy, so much happiness. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Yeah.
My husband is very supportive and it's fantastic. Number one dad. He's
fantastic.
Such, yeah.
And the boys love him.
Yes.
They love him.
Yeah, they love to cuddle with him, more than me. And I'm going to need it, please. But yeah, that was, other than that, it's nice to be done with the things when you're done with them, if that makes sense.
She'll know.
We had to sleep train once.
I don't.
We're talking about potty training. We only have to potty train once. And you get the 2 kids, so. Yeah. That's nice.
And you never have to feel that way ever again. That way you felt after having them.
Yeah.
Ever again. And that is scary to me because I do want more. And I do know what you mean, feeling exhausted and all that. And I'm like, I'm ready for it. No, but it's okay.
It is okay. You have to remember, too, you made it through. You'll make it through. And sometimes we're so hard on ourselves as women. I feel like we want to be the best moms and the best wives and we're going to get it all done. And all at the same time, you're just completely destroying yourself. And it's crazy because until you have kids, you don't realize the sucking drain that they have on you, mentally, physically. And then at the same time, everybody has their own mental stuff they deal with, just minus the children. So you add that on top of having kids. And then having 2 kids, going from 0 kids to 2 kids.
That's huge.
Is huge. So you get thrown into a completely different ballgame. It is not the same having 2 kids as 1 kid. I'm just going to throw that out there. And then the trauma, like the different type of trauma that your body goes through,
Mhm.
just carrying 2 kids.
Yeah.
And then birthing 2, like all of those things like add up after a while. And a lot of people don't talk about that because, there's so much focus on other things, like you said. So I like that you bring up, it was hard. It sucked. Like I needed help. And I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to pregnancy and having babies. As women, we have to be able to say, help.
Right.
Like
SOS.
help to
Yeah.
anybody that is willing to help. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're so easy to be like, oh no, I can do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
You put these standards on yourself and you don't realize how detrimental it is just to your mental health and just your everyday life. But if we would just step back and be like, what is killing me here? What is really destroying my sanity and my well-being? And then saying, okay, I could change this to make this better. Being able to ask people for help, that's the hardest part, because I suck at asking for help. Motherhood is challenging, so challenging, especially with tiny babies. Or
scary.
They're just nonstop. It's like that one comedian that talks about having a baby is like you're drowning and then they hand you a baby.
Yeah.
And they're like, keep it alive. Good luck. With twins, they like hand you 2 babies. And they're like, keep them alive.
You got a
Goodbye.
solid core and good leg muscle.
Yeah.
because-
Yeah.
I'd be sinking to the ground like concrete was on my legs.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you just do it. And that's all it, like, literally, it, like, goes back to when I met you and you were like, you are a really good worker. It's
You
just
are.
like, but because that's what you do. Like, you put your foot down and you just get it done.
You grind.
Yeah. And I think that was a lot of what having twins was, is, you just got to do it. Like, you have to keep them alive. Like, check. But everything with me, it was just put on the back burner. My, like, self-care, which big here, because it was like going to the grocery store. I was like,
huge.
Oh my God.
Love doing that.
I was like, I get to go to the grocery store, and I was like, this is not fucking self-care.
Yeah.
Like, this is a job. Like, this is a task that I have to do. So I started crocheting.
Girl.
Yeah.
Are you still doing it?
I am still crocheting. I just finished.
You would dig it, Jess.
I like it.
I just finished, of course, like, for my kids, like a giant 2J. My son's name's Jackson and Jonathan. And I just had big J's, and I made little monkeys.
Oh my God, so
Safari
cute.
theme. Yeah. So I picked up hobbies that I was like, okay, I need to start reading again. Like, I needed to get back into work. I love what I do. Like, I'm a high school math teacher, life. Like, so into it. And that was another hard thing, is
It's your passion.
when I had the kids, it was summer break. So it's like I couldn't even jump back into work. It's a sensitive subject to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
Even after they're almost 2, it was so surprising. The moms that I would talk to would be like, yeah, I'm dying. And I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like,
it's not just me.
I thought it was just me. And I don't have any friends, like close friends, that had twins, but they had kids and they were still struggling with one. And it's hard. So you really need to have friends like you.
Yeah.
And now I have Jess. So.
100%. Yeah.
100%.
Dude, and
I'm like,
Yeah.
and
the
her,
teenage years, like, I'm going to be like, help.
help me. I know. And she has 18 to 13.
Yeah.
God bless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I teach high schoolers, and they're the worst.
Oh, they're very, they could be very mean.
But you have great kids.
I do have
You are
great
so lucky
kids.
you have fantastic children.
I do have great kids, and they have funny friends too. The other day, my daughter and her friends were pulling into the driveway, and I was checking the mail, and I walked in front of them, and the one like leans out the window, and she's like trying to do a whistle, but she's not a whistler, so she's like, whoo, woo, 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 and then she's like, gat. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, you just taught me that.
I was like, oh my gosh, here
you
we
probably
go.
know that because you're a high school teacher.
What are they?
Yacht. It's
You should have worn your jacket.
for all of the adults that don't know the middle school / high school slang. Gyat, spelled Gyat, sometimes just one T, is their slang for you have a big butt.
Oh.
So it's a compliment because it's like, God damn. So it's gyat,
Okay.
like, okay, she's got it.
Shit, I'm going to
But-
have to listen. I have a big butt. I'm going to have to.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know. It's
They're probably
you up.
saying it.
Yeah. And I'm
it's
like, wow,
sneaky.
that's so fun. Yeah.
It's sneaky, but they're funny like that, where they'll say stuff like that, and I just shake my head and laugh because I'm like, oh, girls. But listen, I'll take any compliment from a teenage girl because
1,000%.
they
Yeah.
are brutal,
Yes.
mean people
And,
at times.
Right to your face.
Oh, 100%. Like, they don't even say it behind your back. No.
No, that's
like,
when you become an adult. Then you start saying shit behind people's backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we don't like confrontation anymore.
I'm all about it.
That's so fun. But yeah, the potty training years is the one.
Mm-hmm.
The potty training is what got me with my first child. I was like, they're just going to wear diapers forever. Like, I'm not doing this. You would feel like you were making progress. And you'd be like, we've got this. We're having no accidents. You'd have like a streak. And then they would lose their fucking minds.
Confidence.
You feel like my progress is gone. They don't know what they're doing. I don't have another change of clothes. The amount of photos or amount of times that I had Shaw in pink leggings,
which is her
Shaw's
son.
my son. The amount of times I had him in pink leggings, because that's all the clothes I had with me was his sister's pink leggings, are numerous. There's a lot of pictures with him in leggings.
He had clothes, and that's fantastic.
He had clothes.
Don't shit your pants, buddy.
So just prepare for patience when it comes to the potty training era, and don't give up. You'll get there. And that's the one. I felt I was like the king of the world when we got to that point, when I was like, everybody is potty trained. Like,
yes. Did it get easier the more that you did it?
Ooh,
yeah,
was it different?
You just knew how to be prepared better.
Okay.
Like, preparedness is the key. And just to be like, my biggest, this might be gross to some people, but my biggest thing that I came up with is we had this tiny, the training potties that are all contained, that have like a little poop drawer. And I would keep it in my trunk.
Oh.
So if anywhere we were, they'd say I have to go to the bathroom, I would just pull over in a parking lot, pop the trunk, sit them on the thing, let him take a shit right in the parking lot.
One of my girlfriends does that.
Because you don't want to drag all your other kids into the store. Everybody's touching the toilets and everything in the bathrooms. I remember people like walking by with their grocery carts being like, oh, that's a great idea. And my daughter was like,
Just pooping
in the trunk, you know? I keep trash bags and all that stuff to just contain shit, literally. Or I would just pour out the liquid in the parking lot. You know what I mean? Because it was way easier to keep everybody in their 5-point harnesses and just take the one to do her business or whatever. So that would be my biggest tip, is always pack multiple changes of clothes, have a portable potty. Good luck. Yeah.
Good luck potty training. Do you think there's a difference between boys and girls because you have 2 and 2? Or is it the same kind of situation? Is one easier, or is it just all kids are different?
Well, boys are nice because they have
a hose.
They have a hose. They have the ability to be like, pee by that tree. But what's funny is when my husband taught them like that they can pee outside, then they were like,
only outside.
I feel like sometimes they would walk outside to go instead of going in the house. Or if we were at a park, they would just not go behind a tree and just stand in the middle of the field, hips thrust forward, pants down, with a nice arch stream into the soccer field, as other kids are like, what the hell? And you'd be like, okay, so now let's talk about where we can do this.
Boundaries.
Like, let's find a tree. Nobody wants to see that. But you have those moments, like my one son, we were at like a pool party with all these sweet moms, and they all had girls, and I had boys. And one of my sons just got out of the pool, and there was a bathroom like outside by the pool area that he could have gone to. But instead, he stood on the edge of the pool and pulled his swim shorts down and did hands on hips, like fountain, into the pool. And,
oh my God.
And I was like, yeah, like I like
trying to catch it.
I was like trying to catch it, but then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do with this?
Now what do I do?
Once I like
dump it in the pool.
Or like you can't like.
And I was like, and all my friends with girls were like, and all the girls were like, eh.
That's so funny.
So you really have to communicate well with the boys of like what's appropriate and what's not. They're still gonna do stupid things.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
You guys are lucky. You just have a bunch of boys.
We do have a bunch of boys.
You're welcome.
Boys are just ruling our life.
Yeah.
I have a funny pool bathroom story as well. Last year we had Maverick in swimming lessons, like right here at the community center pool in Freeport, and it was all of our friends. There was like 5 of us, so it was the same people we already knew. We hang out with them all the time. And so after the pool lesson, we would go to the outdoor shower that's literally like right by the poolside, And we would just like take off all their clothes, like just, they were one, so whatever. And it was him and his little friend who's a girl. We get them naked and we started showering them and like washing them. And I literally turned for 1 second and the mom was like, oh my God, Kendall, he just shit. And literally I turned around and Maverick's like looking down between his legs, you know, like they're like wide. And a freaking log is just there. And I'm like, what do I do? I'm not touching that shit. But it's my son, so I have to. And then I'm like, oh my God, do I put it down the drain? Do I waffle stop it?
God.
And then she was like, oh my God, get a wipey. And I'm like, well, watch him. And I'm like, and they're both naked laughing. They don't know what's going on. And don't let him touch it. Oh my God. So literally I had to like go get a wipey and like put it over the log and like grab it and take it to the bathroom or the trash. And
with 2 hands?
Literally. It
was that big of a log.
It was a fucking log. And I'll never, I was like, I cannot wait to call Ryan. And tell him what just happened. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I like told the mom, even though I'm friends with her, like we're friends. I was like, I'm so sorry. That was so gross. She's like, it's okay. No worries. Nobody got hurt.
Well, I just love Buc-ee's. I have a reason. But so we travel a lot and we do road trips. We always stop at Buc-ee's. And it's fantastic because Buc-ee's has changing rooms in the men's room.
Oh, that's clutch.
Nice.
It's fantastic because it's like, you take one, I'll take one. Here's the diaper, here's wipes. Like, let's. So, big shout out to Buc-ee's for actually having that because so many places, like if we go out to a restaurant, don't have it in the guys' room.
We're at the stage, you and I, with the kids where, at least maybe I am, but because you probably, I don't know if you take them both in, if you have to go to the bathroom like in a stall, will they just like stand there? Because Maverick doesn't now.
So far we're good.
Oh my God.
They like love the potty. They're like, they really started using a lot, of words recently. And they're just like, potty. And I'm like, please don't put your fucking hand in there.
Yeah, don't touch it.
Don't do it. Take it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Maverick always says, what's that? And he's pointing to my freaking hoo-ha.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm like, nothing that you have.
That's your OG home, buddy.
I'm going potty and poop. Who knows what I'm doing right now? But he'll go straight to the door. And he tries to unlock it. That's where I'm at right now.
Gosh.
I know,
he's like,
you guys.
let's get out of here.
You got your foot
and
on
I'm
the
literally,
door.
I'm like squatting on the toilet because I'm not touching it. So I'm always squatting. And so I'm like trying to like not touch the toilet seat and like look what I'm doing. And then I look up and Maverick's trying to leave the freaking bathroom. And I'm like, stop it! Don't do it! So now I'm at the point where I'm like, why does every bathroom not have a spot to place your child, strap that little puppy up, so they just sit there? I don't.
Just like a leash station.
Yes. Yes.
A hitching post.
Exactly. That's what I was just thinking of. Exactly. The only place I've ever seen it, which is the most random place, is the freaking PCB zoo.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's in the bathrooms that are literally like cowboy-style bathrooms.
Well, it's a zoo. It's probably not for the children.
100%. And they have the little seat next to the toilet where they have little straps and everything. It's a 5-point harness. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I put my diaper bag like in between it, so it's like against the door, so I don't have to worry too much. I have put my foot on the door though. Like I've had to been like, oh fuck, this motherfucker is going to break out.
So because some kids are divers, like they'll dive under the stall and take off to like other people's stalls.
Oh my God, could you imagine?
What's funny too is because
disturbing.
moms have to take their sons to the bathroom so frequently and they're exposed to your parts. I don't know if this was the first time I heard my son say it, but I remember we were all riding in the car and somebody's like, who likes chocolate ice cream? Raise your hand. And they were like, raise your hand. And it's, who's this and that? And they would raise their hand. And then one of my sons goes, who has a front butt?
Oh my.
And everybody's like, what the fuck?
A front butt.
And he's like, girls, raise your hands.
Oh my. Talking to his sisters?
Talking to his sisters because he knows girls have front butts.
Tell me that was Shaw.
Yeah, 100%. And I was like, front butts. I was like, totally makes sense.
Ryan calls it a front butt, and the first time I ever heard him say that, I literally was like, oh my God, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
It is a front butt.
I'm dying.
That's so I was
he
like,
just came up with that?
So I was in the front like,
quietly.
I have a front butt.
I was like, I guess I have a front butt. I never really thought about that, but that's kind of smart. Okay.
A kid's brain is the coolest thing ever.
Wild.
I love
The things that come out of their mouth, like when they think of it, I'm like, oh my God. God. That's so funny. All right, do you want to talk about food?
Yeah, let's talk about food.
Oh God, I can't provide anything.
So Nicole, what are you heating up this week?
I really like our new air fryer.
Yeah, we love air fryers. We're big air fry people.
Yeah.
We just switched. Look at me contributing.
Come on, girl.
We just switched from the old air fryer we had was like a tray one. Like it wasn't a bucket. When we switched to the bucket, oh my fucking God. Why did we
the best.
Yes.
Yeah, the bucket ones are better.
Oh my gosh, it's so like way better.
What have you been cooking, Kendall?
So you know I love my salads.
Of course.
I've been into the prepackaged salads, which I never do. I'm always like, oh, make my own, you know, because it's cheaper and I can do whatever I want. But I have been addicted. And also they're cheap at Publix right now. And it's just easier. Like the Asian one with the like sesame seed dressing. And then I'll add avocado and I'll air fry tofu and throw it on top. And Maverick eats it with me. You guys, he eats salad, which...
That's wild.
It was so wild to me at first because he's always interested in my salads because I always sit next to him on the couch and I'll eat them. And I'll show him. And every time he's like, and like pushes it away. I'm like, all right, but I do it every time, you know, repetition. Mm-hmm. And this past week I showed him my salad and he stuck his just finger in it like he normally does. Just
check the temp.
Yeah. And then he went, grabs salad and holy moly. Yes. He literally we've been sharing that Asian salad like every other day probably.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I can't really think of. I've made food. I can't think of. I can't think of what it is. Probably because my brain is completely overrun with this chocolate cake I made for my daughter's birthday.
Oh, tell me.
Okay, it was super sneaky. I took a chocolate cake mix, and I always add a box of pudding to any cake mix because it adds like an extra.
Good. Like the cook and serve one, or just like the regular pudding?
Just normal pudding. Just dump the pudding in. That's it. You don't have to add any of the other stuff.
The powder?
Just the powder. You just add the powder to the cake mix. But I had seen the recipe I was using that had the frosting recipe on it. Their recipe had buttermilk and sour cream and stuff in the chocolate cake. So I was like, I don't want to make a real chocolate cake. So I did the cake mix. I added a package of pudding, and then I added buttermilk and coffee. Instead of like I used whatever amount of liquid that the recipe called for. I did a little bit extra because the pudding kind of thickens it up. But so I added some buttermilk, and then I did coffee in place of it. And then the frosting was ganache that was just whipped. So it was just heavy whipping cream and chocolate melted down. And then you wait it to cool, and then you whipped it up, and it turned into a frosting. So you frosted the cake with that, and then you made another little batch of ganache and poured that on the top. So it was like the most
decadent.
It wasn't overly sweet because you used dark chocolate in the frosting.
And coffee's bitter.
And the coffee, it gave it this rich flavor, but it was so moist, so flavorful. And the next morning, I was like, cake for breakfast.
Thank goodness you did.
And cake for lunch. Like, I think
I brought some here today.
I thought about bringing it, and I totally forgot. And when we walked in, I was like, oh no, I forgot the cake.
Oh my gosh. It reminds me of Matilda cake. Like, that's what I'm picturing right now.
But
in Matilda, that chocolate
It was so good. I don't know what else I made this week, but the chocolate cake was the win.
Like, my mouth is watering.
It was very good. It was very good.
Also, shout out to your sister.
Kendall has her hair down.
My hair's down today for you, girlfriend. Because she goes, does Kendall ever wear her hair down to Jess? And I was like, oh, now my hair has to be down.
And look how beautiful and shiny it is.
Does look so
Oh,
gorgeous.
well, thank you, because it is oily, but
it looks amazing.
We'll roll with it.
It's beautiful. I don't take this as a diss, but I want to say it looks like horsehair. But it's not. I think of like a beautiful black stallion
that is me
running down the beach, and the shiny mane is like, that is what I'm saying when I say it looks like horsehair. So don't take that bad, because it doesn't look coarse. It just looks magical and shiny.
I
and
literally think that was the best compliment I've ever gotten.
Well, good. I'm glad you took it the right way.
I look like a horse.
No, I do have horse teeth. My dad used to neigh at me.
I have horse teeth.
I had my front teeth shaved down. You guys, literally, they took a saw and like shaved those puppies down. And my dad literally used to neigh at me when I was a kid because my teeth were so big. And
I'm gonna need to see a picture.
I'm sorry, Maverick, but oh my God, I had this beautiful picture in my head. I wasn't on the beach though. I was like running in like a Scottish,
Ooh, like a countryside
yes,
with the
with
green
the
and the
cliffs
luscious.
and it's like a Clydesdale. Do I have big
And a
hooves?
leprechaun riding your back.
And the leprechaun.
Sprinkling seeds.
Yes.
And eating a tofu sandwich.
Exactly. I was thinking like through a garden.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, but thank you.
I love it. So, out of all those things, we're going to share a link to the Amazon air fryer and
100%.
and my chocolate cake recipe.
Yes. That needs to be yes, and yes.
Nicole, what is one of your biggest tips for all those twin baby mamas out there that you could give, like, one thing that kind of saved you, or that you were like, this was a lifesaver, or this really made a huge impact on this whole double baby situation?
The biggest thing, and I'm such an advocate for it, is scheduling and sleep training. Like, I just feel like we would not have made it. Like, the people who, God bless them if you have the time, but the people who like wake up like, oh, my baby needs to feed and I gotta do it on their schedule. No. Like, to me, what I found with my kids and with other kids, like, they need routine. So just really putting them on, and make a schedule that works for you. Like, we have to get up so early because I have to get up so early for my job. But it's like we just made a schedule that worked for us. We started sleep training using the Taking Care of Babies. Like, I really just used like the website and her blogs. And I like developed my own schedules. And they were sleeping through the night like within a month. And it was fantastic. And they acclimated so much better because of that. And I think it's been really beneficial for them, but they're still flexible.
This might be a bad correlation, but it's kind of like all of our kids, they all have cell phones. They're all being tracked on an app that we follow them around with.
Yes.
But the app will notify you every time they come home. And the other day I noticed my daughter came home, so it dings like when she's down the street, and it dings again when she gets to the house. And on the second ding, the dog heard it and went straight to the door. Like, oh, somebody's home.
Yep.
I'm ready for them. And I was like, oh my gosh, I just realized that Midnight totally knows this sound of the Life 360 for the kids. Because it's kind of like that. Like, when they have those signals and things, it kind of like triggers something in their brain, and it is so beneficial. So I think that's a great tip.
That is huge. Yeah. And you were the one that helped me so much on sleep training, Mav. And and Ryan and I will both probably say this. If you ask him, it's the biggest savior of our marriage and our relationship and like our mental being of being new parents is sleep training. And I will, time and time again, when someone asks, sleep train.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us, Nicole. We kind of just threw her into this. She had no idea.
You said it like 2 weeks ago when I told you she was coming, and I thought it was the best idea ever. When she said it, she's like, do you think your friend would want to be on the podcast and talk about twins? And I was like, oh, I don't care what she says. She's going to be on the podcast and talk about twins.
You did ask, though, which was nice.
I did.
I reluctantly said yes.
I know. And then I said mimosas, and she said, okay.
I'm in.
We're in. So take Nicole's advice. Sleep train your babies. Let us know if you guys have any great tips for twins out there, for sure.
But thank you guys so much for having me.
I love you.
Oh my God, thank you.
This was fun.
It's so fun. More mimosas.
The kids are probably
all
out
of them
now.
are empty.
I know. We're
dry. Guys, we got to fill up our drinks. Gotta go. Bye.
Bye.
And that, party people, wraps up another delightful episode of Parties to Playdates.
We hope you're leaving with a smile, a story, and maybe a tip or two.
Remember, life's journey is better shared with a friend.
And we're so grateful to be part of yours.
If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to rate and subscribe to our show.
Your support keeps our community growing and our stories flowing. We want to hear from you. Please send us your thoughts, ideas, and questions to partiestoplaydates@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Parties to Playdates.
Until next time, keep embracing the chaos and finding the joy.
Take care and stay connected, party people.
Bye for now, and don't forget to laugh a little extra today.
Bye.